الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين القوي المتين الحق المبين والحافظ المعين وأرحم الراحمين وصلوات الله وسلامه على سيد المرسلين وخاتم النبيين وشافع الخلائق يوم الدين وعلى آله الطاهرين وصحبه الأنصار والمهاجرين والتابعين لهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. اللهم إنا نسألك بأسمائك الحسنى وصفاتك العظمى وكلماتك التامة ورحمتك العامة أن تجعل هذا المجلس مجلسا مباركا موفقا بالخيرات والبركات مليئا بالحسنات والطيبات مصحوبا بالبهجة والسرور مكتوبا بالسلامة والسعادة مزينا بالعصمة والمغفرة منعما بالصحة والعافية معصوما عن الفحشاء والمنكر موصولا إلى العواقب الحسنة برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. اللهم يا مجيب دعاء السائلين, by the glory of your most beautiful names, by the majesty of your divine attributes, and by the perfection of your words and revelation, we humbly raise our hands in prayer and submission, seeking that this ceremony of Nikkei Forum Medini Johor 2025 to be officiated by Yang Amat Berhormat Datuk Seri Anwar bin Ibrahim, Prime Minister of Malaysia, be made a gathering that is continuously blessed, enveloped in your mercy and ever guided by your grace. Allahumma ya Qadir wa ya Muqtadir. O Allah, with humility and gratitude, we raise our hands in prayer, thanking you for allowing us to complete this forum in peace and goodwill. Indeed, it is by your will that we have gathered here in spirit of mutual respect and global cooperation, bringing together brilliant minds, sincere hearts, and forward-thinking leaders from across nation, cultures, and field of expertise. We ask you, O Allah, to bless all the efforts that have been made throughout this Nikkei Forum Medini Johor 2025. Bless the ideas that we shared, the partnership that were forged, and the aspiration that were voiced in the pursuit of shared prosperity, sustainability, and human dignity. Allahumma ya zal jalali wal ikram. We pray that the spirit of this forum, the spirit of openness, harmony, and shared responsibility will live on in the hearts of all delegates and participants and continue to bear fruit long after we depart from this venue. We also pray, O Allah, that you bless the state of Johor and the nation of Malaysia, and likewise bless our esteemed guests and friends from all other participating countries. Grant safety and peace to everyone as they return to their homes and families. Allahumma ja'al jam'ana hadha jam'an marhuma wa tafarruqana min ba'dihi tafarruqan ma'suma wa la taj'alillahumma fina wa la ma'ana wa la man yatsba'una shaqiyan wa la matrudan wa la mahruma. Allahumma a'inna ala dhikrika wa syukrika wa husni ibadatik. Allahumma ya ghani ya hamid ya mubdi ya mu'id akfina bihalalika an haramik wa aghnina bifadlika amman siwak. Allahumma asrif anna wa an yang di-Pertuan Agung, wa an Raja Pemaisuri Agung, wa an Pemangku Sultan Johor, wa Cik Puan Mahkota Johor, wa anil muslimin wal muslimat wal hadirin wal hadirat al bala wal waba wal amrad wal asqam wal fitan wal mihan wal hasada wal udwan wal ghaflata wal nisyan wa zil anna wa anhum syukuka wal dhununa wal awham bimannika wa karamika ya zal jalali wal ikram. Rabbana atina fid dunya hasanah wa fil akhirati hasanatan wa qina adzaban nar. Wa sallallahu ala sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Taqabbalallahu minkum.
Amin amin ya rabbal alamin. Thank you so much Al-Fadhil Tuan Haji Muhammad Bukharuddin bin Ismail for the recitation of the dua.
Yang Amat Berhormat Datuk Seri, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, the Nikkei Forum Medini Johor 2025 is hosted by the State Government of Johor through the Johor Economic Planning Unit and Invest Johor, and organized by Nikkei Inc., Nikkei BP, and Iskandar Investment Berhad IIB, right here in Medini Iskandar Putri, in the heart of Iskandar, Malaysia, bringing together thought leaders, policymakers, and industry trailblazers to explore bold ideas and partnerships shaping the future of Southeast Asia.
Ladies and gentlemen, to commence this special keynote session, it gives us great pleasure to invite His Excellency Noriyuki Shikata, Ambassador of Japan to Malaysia, to now deliver his keynote speech.
Bang Yang Amat Berhormat Dato Sri Anwar Ibrahim, Prime Minister of Malaysia, Yang Amat Berhormat Dato Ong Hafiz bin Ghazi, Chief Minister of Johor, Tun Musa Hitam, former Deputy Prime Minister of Malaysia, Dato Ijam Mohod Hashim, President and CEO, Iskandar Investment Berhad, Mr. Kato Hidenaka, Managing Executive Officer, Nikkei Inc., Mr. Asami Naoki, Senior Managing Director, Nikkei Business Publishing. Tan Sri, Dato, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon, Selamat Tengah Hari, and Konnichiwa. First and foremost, as Ambassador of Japan, Berhad, Nikkei Inc., and Nikkei Business Publications Inc., for giving me this special opportunity to say a few words on this historic first Nikkei Forum in Johor. It is an honor for me to share with you my vision to further step up our cooperation and strengthen our partnership between Japan and Malaysia, especially in Johor. During the last 3 days, I'm so delighted to have been meeting with so many Japanese, Malaysian, ASEAN business and government leaders here in Medini Iskandar Putri. Today, I will choose to focus on 3 major areas of cooperation between Japan and Malaysia. That is green investment, transportation, and education. Let me begin by warmly congratulating Malaysia on its special role as ASEAN chair this year. Japan wholeheartedly supports Malaysia's leadership, actively led by Prime Minister Anwar. Japan is also fully committed to further strengthening its partnership with Malaysia to realize a free and open Indo-Pacific. Malaysia's proactive and constructive role in regional affairs has garnered high praise from many countries within and beyond ASEAN. Japan strongly supports these Malaysian initiatives and is committed to advancing as an indispensable partner in the quest for promoting trade and investment, as well as ensuring regional peace and prosperity. Today, I'm delighted to share that this year, we have already received several Japanese high-level political visits to Malaysia, reflecting the strength and depth of our robust bilateral relations. Prime Minister Ishiba Shigeru visited Malaysia in January, warmly welcomed by Prime Minister Anwar. And this was followed by our METI Minister Muto and the Parliamentary Association of the Asia Zero Emission Community, AZEC, headed by former Prime Minister Kishida Fumio in May, who was warmly welcomed by Prime Minister Anwar. These visits were crucial opportunities to strengthen our cooperation, particularly in the green sector and our jointly tackling climate change challenges. There have been extensive discussions on new green investments in Malaysia, resulting in concrete expressions of interest, investment plans for wide-ranging projects in Malaysia by Japanese companies. As you know, Johor is emerging as a vital hub for data centers. These facilities require substantial energy for cooling, thus presenting a significant challenge in terms of environmental impact. In this regard, Japan's LNG, liquefied natural gas cooling technology, would offer an environmentally friendly and efficient cooling solution. By adapting this technology, the data centers in Johor would significantly improve energy efficiency while reducing their environmental impacts, as well as improving operational efficiency. Secondly, we are also realizing that green energy flow from Sarawak to Johor will not only secure a sustainable energy supply, but also unlock new green investment opportunities in Malaysia for Japanese companies. Such cooperation is expected to accelerate sustainable economic growth in both Japan and Malaysia, as well as in the ASEAN region, in the context of realizing ASEAN Power Grid, which Prime Minister Anwar has been actively promoting. Ladies and gentlemen, now let me address the issue of transportation. As Johor anticipates significant economic growth, given the rapid progress of Johor-Singapore Special Economic Zone, JSSEZ, I believe that it is essential to address the pressing issues of traffic congestion in Johor. The traffic jam not only hampers economic activities, but also wastes energy and harms the environment, as well as increased the risk of traffic accidents. The forthcoming rapid transit system, RTS, expected to be complete by late 2026, along with the proposed elevated autonomous rapid transit, it's called EART system, EART system, are keys to improving public transportation in Johor. Japan is eager to collaborate with Johor by offering cutting-edge solutions, including smart transportation systems and quality infrastructure development. By employing Japan's AI-driven traffic control systems and digitally optimized public transportation networks, we aim to support Johor in overcoming serious traffic congestion and cooperate with Johor, becoming a model smart city for transportation solutions, not only in KL or Georgetown, Penang, but also other mega cities in ASEAN and beyond, which are facing traffic congestion and traffic jam issues. Now, in terms of international shipment logistics, the strategic role of ports in Johor State cannot be overlooked. Both Port of Tanjung Pelepas and Johor Port have the huge potential to serve as even more competitive regional logistics hub. These ports are ideally placed to play a greater role in regional and international trade. Japanese stakeholders can work together with ports in Johor to further improve operational efficiency and to provide even more effective management of vessel traffic for further competitiveness. Such world-class competitive ports will create many good jobs for the local community in Johor and strategically contribute to regional economic development. Thirdly, in the field of education, I'm encouraged by the growing academic and educational exchanges between our two countries, including at the Japanese and international schools in Johor. Building upon Look-East policy, I have been advocating look at each other policy, encouraging more Japanese students to study in Malaysia, including at Sunway University or Edu City in Johor. Student exchange and joint programs between Japan and Malaysia play a vital role in nurturing talent and would significantly contribute to creating future joint ventures by our next generation business and technology leaders in both countries. It would be great for our respective educational institutions, industry players, and governments in Johor and Japan represented here today to support creating new joint programs between Japanese universities and universities in Johor to institutionally promote student exchanges. And these programs could focus on cutting-edge technologies, including semiconductors, AI, digital, sustainable energy transformation, and biotechnology. This kind of new collaboration will nurture talent, future business leaders in both countries, and lay the groundwork for further bilateral cooperation based on our long-lasting trust and friendship between Japan and Malaysia. In closing, I believe that through active involvement and cooperation from both the government and private sectors in the three fields mentioned above, that is green investment, smart transportation, and educational exchanges, we can achieve lasting, sustainable development together. Each of our efforts is key to creating a brighter and more prosperous future for both our nations as well as for our region. I sincerely look forward to realizing this goal in closer partnership with you. Very lastly, based on this successful Nikkei Forum Medini Johor 2025, I hope that Nikkei Forum shall be held in Johor again and again in the future. So my friends, let's come back to Iskandar Putri Johor next year again. Thank you very much. ありがとうございました。Terima kasih.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency, for your keynote speech. And of course, we in Johor looking forward to having Nikkei Forum again and again and again and again and again and many more years to come. Yang Amat Berhormat Datuk Seri, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, for years, Johor has often been described as a land full of potential, which is strategically located, economically vibrant, and rich in resources and talent. But the time for merely talking about Johor's potential is over. Now is the time to realize those potentials. Johor has cemented its reputation as one of Malaysia's most dynamic and forward-looking economies.
With its strategic location, robust infrastructure and pro-investment policies, the establishment of the Johor-Singapore Special Economic Zone, or JSSEZ, represents a new economic synergy between Johor as well as Singapore. We now present to you a short video on the JSSEZ.
Johor, a dynamic hub of opportunity and innovation, strategically located in the southern region of Malaysia, close to Singapore. The two regions share a unique economic relationship, with nearly 500,000 people crossing the Johor-Singapore border daily, making it one of the busiest land borders in the world. To further enhance economic growth, development and cooperation, the Johor-Singapore Special Economic Zone, or JSSEZ, has been established, offering competitive advantages in attracting foreign direct investment to Johor. This zone offers world-class infrastructure, safety, security, and ease of doing business for global investors. Accessible by land via the Plus North-South Expressway, the Senai Desaru Expressway, the Malaysia-Singapore Second Link, and the Federal Road, covering an area of approximately 3,500 square kilometers. It features Johor Bahru as the economic hub, with 3 city councils and 3 municipal councils, with Kota Iskandar as an administrative center. The catalyst area within the SEZ focuses on driving economic growth, tourism and urban development by attracting investments and providing industries with space and resources for commercial, residential and recreational growth. By 2026, the Rapid Transit System RTS Link will enhance connectivity with Malaysian and Singaporean immigration facilities integrated at the departure station. The electric train services, ETS, will pass through key districts, ending at JB Central Station. Senai International Airport, well linked to major highways and rail networks, is within a 4 to 6 hour flight radius of key economic and tourist centers. Johor's 3 ports, Tanjung Pelepas, Johor Port, and Tanjung Langsa, are connected to Senai International Airport. Seaports terminals and modern highways, with 7 jetty services enhancing access for tourists and business. Additionally, Johor benefits from ample electricity, water and 5G networks, supporting investment and industrial growth. Johor's lush forests, rivers and public parks provide a balance between urban growth and sustainability, offering ecotourism and recreational escapes. Major developments in the SEZ include Ibrahim Technopolis, or IBTEC, is a hub for innovations in smart city technologies, a steadfast commitment to minimizing environmental impact with global standard data centers. EduCity Iskandar, Asia's top multi-campus education city. Ibrahim International Business District, aiming to elevate Johor Bahru to world city status. Putri Harbour, offering modern waterfront living. Desaru Coast, with world-class resorts for holiday homes and investments. And the Pengerang Integrated Petroleum Complex, set to be a global refinery and petrochemical hub. A special financial zone, SFZ, in Forest City, aims to boost foreign investment and serve as a catalyst for Johor to become a developed state by 2030. With incentives that lower business costs, the SFZ opens doors to new opportunities. Johor is home to 4.1 million people, with 70.8% in the 15 to 64 age group. The Johor Talent Development Council, JTDC, was established to address the demand for skilled labor, enhancing graduates' marketability to meet industry needs. For committed investors, the Invest Malaysia Facilitation Centre and the Johor Super Lane provide ease in doing business, while MyTrip and MyRintas offer added benefits for investors in Malaysia. These initiatives position Johor as a key player in attracting investment and driving economic growth. Take advantage and grow together with business opportunities in logistics, digital economy, energy, financial services, business services, manufacturing, travel and tourism, healthcare, education, and food security. Discover Johor's special economic and financial zone. It's your gateway to limitless possibilities.
Johor Singapore Special Economic Zone, a bold manifestation of action, acceleration and ambition. With that, ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to now invite Yang Amat Berhormat Dato' On Hafiz bin Ghazi, Chief Minister of Johor, to deliver his special remarks.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera, salam maju Johor, salam Malaysia Madani. A very good afternoon. Selamat tengah hari, konnichiwa. Yang amat berhormat Datuk Seri Anwar bin Ibrahim, Prime Minister of Malaysia. Yang amat berbahagia Tun Musa Hitam, Malaysia's 5th Deputy Prime Minister, His Excellency Mr. Noriyuki Shikata, Ambassador of Japan to Malaysia, Mr. Hidinaka Kato, Managing Executive Officer, Global Conference, Nikkei Incorporated, Yang Berhormat Datuk Seri Utama Insinyur Hasni bin Muhammad, Johor's 18th Chief Minister, Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, allow me on the onset to bid you all a very warm welcome to our beautiful state of Johor Darul Takzim. Selamat datang ke negeri Johor, the home of champions. Champions, not just in regards to football, but as you may have been reading in the papers, we are also a national league topper when it comes to investments. Syukur, Alhamdulillah, all praise to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Ladies and gentlemen, we are also extremely privileged to be joined today by the Prime Minister of Malaysia, Datuk Seri Anwar bin Ibrahim, as well as His Excellency the Ambassador of Japan to Malaysia. Special thanks to Datuk Sri Prime Minister of Malaysia, who has been instrumental in supporting Johor's strong economic growth and a passionate advocate of the Johor-Singapore Special Economic Zone. Let us all give him a big round of applause. Thank you, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, I am deeply honored that Nikkei, a respectable global platform that has helped shape dialogue across the region for decades, has chosen Medini Johor as the venue for its international forum this year. Your presence here today is testament not only to the enduring strength of Japan and Malaysia's relationship, but also to Johor's rising role in the regional and global landscape. I would also like to extend my sincerest appreciation to Iskandar Investment Berhad, IIB, for their foresight and continuing commitment in championing Medini's potential, as well for their pivotal role in bringing the Nikkei Forum here in Johor. My sincerest thanks also go to all corporate partners, sponsors, and the media fraternity who have supported the successful hosting of this event. All of you have had 2 days of what I am sure have been informative and engrossing sessions on why, among other things, JSSEZ matters, even and especially in these trying global times. What I propose to do now is to amplify and reinforce everything that has been said this past few days. I hope all of you here leave with one message. And that message is, if you want to thrive in ASEAN or even Asia, Johor, Malaysia is the place to be. Ladies and gentlemen, let me begin with the facts. The fact is that we are not only champions in football, but also arguably an investment champion as well. As I said earlier, Johor has recorded 30.1 billion ringgit in investments for the first quarter of 2025. A significant leap compared to 4.1 billion during the same period last year. For comparison, this amount took 9 months to achieve last year, and it has been achieved just in 3 months in 2025. This reflects the trust that investors, both domestic and international, place in Johor. They see the potential in our state, the stability of our environment, and the consistent spirit of progress that defines Johor. I extend my heartfelt appreciation to Yang Amat Berhormat Datuk Sri Anwar bin Ibrahim, the government of Malaysia, and our friends from Singapore for their steadfast belief in Johor's economic potential and for championing this strategic collaboration. To our partners in Singapore, let us continue working hand in hand, building bridges of opportunity and ensuring prosperity for both sides of the causeway. Ladies and gentlemen, despite Johor's achievements thus far, we realize that we cannot rest on our laurels. We understand that success is not a destination. It is a continuous journey. That is why Johor and the leadership led by Datuk Sri Anwar bin Ibrahim are relentlessly focused on strengthening 3 critical enablers of competitiveness. The first enabler is ease of doing business. Through the Invest Malaysia Facilitation Center, Johor, IMFCJ, we are transforming how investments are executed. Our Johor Super Lane Initiative, JSL, offers fast-track approvals for priority investments, eliminating unnecessary bureaucracy and accelerating timelines. Because we believe doing business in Johor should be easy, efficient, and investor-friendly. The IMFCJ is more than a one-stop center. It is a fully integrated federal state facilitation platform, the first of its kind, spearheaded by IRDA, Invest Johor, and MIDA, dedicated to cutting through the red tape, solving infrastructure bottlenecks, and ensuring that approvals, licensing, and coordination happen without delay. And it's already working. In just 5 months, 439 accumulated inquiries have been received. There are 57 potential investments valued at 26.18 billion ringgit, 6 committed investments worth 16.71 billion ringgit. Processing times have been reduced from 3 months to as little as 1 to 35 days. Ladies and gentlemen, this is real efficiency. This is smart governance. This is Johor redefining facilitation. The second enabler is ease of movement. Because in today's economy, connectivity is everything. As mentioned by the Ambassador of Japan to Malaysia. We understand that seamless mobility of people, goods, and services is essential for business success. That is why Johor, in close collaboration with the federal government, is investing heavily in transformative infrastructure that moves our state forward. Key projects include the Johor Bahru Singapore Rapid Transit System, RTS, a game changer for cross-border mobility, and it is on track for completion by end of next year. Enhancing the systems and facilities at the BSI, Bangunan Sultan Ibrahim, and KSAP, CIQ complexes to improve cross-border improvements. As we can see, Dato Sri Prime Minister has also been doing spot checks at our CIQs with me. The Gemas Johor Bahru Double Tracks Project, ETS, set to begin operations by end of this year, enhancing all rail freight and passenger capacity. The pioneering elevated autonomous rapid transit elevated ART system will also be starting soon. Major road upgrades, including the widening of the North-South Expressway from 4 lanes to 6 lanes, the Senai Desaru Expressway expansion also to ease east-west travel. These investments, ladies and gentlemen, will unlock Johor's full economic potential by making it easier, faster, and more reliable for businesses and communities to connect and grow. The third enabler is future-ready talent. Capital alone is not enough. Investments needs talent. And Johor is ready to meet that demand through the Johor Talent Development Council, JTDC, a council designed not as an afterthought, but as an integral part of our economic strategy. The JTDC ensures that from day one of investor engagement, talent planning is already on the table We align your workforce needs to our talent pipeline, leveraging on 6 public universities, 15 TVET institutions, direct industry university partnerships, job-ready curriculum reform, and on-the-ground placement and incentives for upskilling. By 2026, our goal is clear. 10,000 job-ready graduates in sectors aligned with JSSEZ focus, such as smart manufacturing, semiconductors, digital infrastructure, and renewable energy, just to name a few. This is how we build a resilient workforce and ensure that investments bring real benefits to Johor's young generation. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to end by saying a few words specifically towards our Japanese stakeholders. Our 2 countries have long been close friends. Japan has played a key, if not starring role, in Malaysia's economic development and modernization. The 40th anniversary of Look East policy was commemorated a few years ago. But I sincerely believe that the best years of the Malaysia-Japan relationship is under the leadership of Dato' Sri Anwar bin Ibrahim. It will continue to flourish under his leadership. But we cannot rest on our laurels. We must find new ways to forge ahead. I would strongly urge you all to see Johor and JSSEZ as a means of doing this. Among other exciting things we are trying to do here is to create an ASEAN industrial park in the region, especially aimed at RCEP member countries. We welcome your participation and feedback in all these incentives. Johor stands ready as a committed partner, a willing collaborator, and a responsible custodian of the opportunities entrusted to us. On behalf of the State of Johor, once again, I thank IIB, Khazanah and Nikkei for choosing Medini Johor as the backdrop for this global dialogue. May our discussions today sow the seeds for a more resilient, inclusive, and prosperous tomorrow. The hosting of this prestigious forum not only elevates Johor's name on the global stage, but also proves that our state is now emerging as a new key player in the geo-economic landscape of Southeast Asia. Johor is making history and the world is watching. Thank you. Arigato gozaimasu. Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you so much, Yang Amat Berhormat Dato', for your special remarks. Champions indeed. Ladies and gentlemen, the Nikkei Forum Medini Johor 2025 has been impactful thus far. It has been a convergence of minds, industries, and regional aspirations. So let us now relive some of these key highlights and inspiring moments from day one in this special recap. Take a look.
There you have it, day one of the Nikkei Forum Medini Johor 2025. And we hope the participants of this forum is enjoying their time here in Medini Iskandar Puteri. We would like to encourage all the participants, before you leave the forum, before you go back to your country, please explore and experience the many attractions available here in Medini Iskandar Puteri, Sunway City Iskandar Puteri. Plenty of things to see and plenty of things to do. And of course, the foods here are totally delicious. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the moment we've all been looking forward to, it is with great honor that I now invite Yang Amat Berhormat Datuk Sri Anwar bin Ibrahim, Prime Minister of Malaysia, to deliver the closing keynote address.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Dan salam sejahtera, konnichiwa. Saudara Menteri Besar, Tuan Hafiz yang dimuliakan, Tun Musa Hitam, Excellency Noriyuki Shikata, Duta Besar, Jenaka Kato dari Nikkei, Sina Hasni, Amirul Faisal, keluarga IIB dan semua yang hadir. Terima kasih atas kesempatan ini, dan seperti mana yang kita ikuti dan dengar dari ucapan awal tadi, Johor telah meningkat sebagai suatu wilayah yang segar pertumbuhan ekonominya dan rancak kegiatannya. Dan kita lihat kepesatan perubahan termasuk kelulusan yang sangat membanggakan. Jadi saya ucap tahniah kepada Menteri Besar, IIB, kerana keupayaan mereka dan kesedaran bahawa dalam dunia yang tidak menentu dari sudut hala tuju dan keputusan yang mengejutkan, termasuk tarif oleh Presiden Trump dan pergolakan sengit Iran Israel sekarang, dan sebelumnya Gaza, Ukraine. Tumpuan kita di Johor, Malaysia dan ASEAN adalah membina kekuatan baru berdasarkan pertumbuhan ekonomi dan kerancakan pertumbuhan. Now, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, of course it gives me great pleasure to be associated with Nikkei Forum, which I did participate last year, and I did apologize for not being able to attend this year, which coincides with our series of ASEAN meetings, but it is a rare pleasure to be there, at that time also with Prime Minister Kishida, and now our very strong bilateral relations with Japan, with Prime Minister Ishiba, who was here, and constantly on telephone, and last month too, in his call, he did mention, surprisingly, other than the Japanese interest to enhance not only bilateral relations, but to increase volume of investments by the private sector, is to refer to specifically the Sarawak Green Hydrogen Initiative, and he did mention Johor, Singapore, SEZ. It's interesting for Prime Minister of Japan to now refer not only to Kuala Lumpur, Putrajaya, but also to Johor. But it's a small digression which I need to emphasize and remind us. You see, this strong bond of relations, comradeship between Malaysia and Japan has been referred to and has been a long-standing operations. I've always encouraged, not only in terms of educational, technological, investments and trade to be further enhanced, but also to appreciate the need to understand values, ethics and culture, because that will strengthen and fortify our strong bond and relationship. That's precisely the reason when I visited Japan, an official visit recently, I made it a point to go and speak at Keio University, which has produced an outstanding philosopher by the name of Toshihiko Izutsu. Some of his works like God and Man and the Quran, brilliant translation of Quran into Japanese language, and also Taoism and Islam or Sufism. You see, it's quite unheard. So I would encourage some of the Japanese companies to showcase that you have produced great scholars, great minds, great sages and philosophers that not only understand Taoism and the Japanese culture, but also made very serious attempt to study and deepen their understanding on Islam. And in his epistemological study, I know many of your corporate leaders, including Emirul Faisal, will get very bored, but please do give some attention to this aspect. Epistemological study would refer to the changes that are taking place, the values and ethical principles in Taoism, which had so much in common with Islamic spiritual depth. When referring to Islam and Islamic contribution, Toshihiko Izutsu referred to the very compelling argument, precisely saying that never before in the culture and history of mind that you have a very strong, formidable, moral position, unshackled with power, wealth, and time. A morally coherent, sustainable system, a moral principle of Islam. And this comes from a great Japanese philosopher who has a mastery of understanding of Japanese culture and civilization, and particularly Taoism. Well, I'm making a slight departure from a talk about trade and investments, just to showcase that this bond could be further fortified, because this will be a guarantee there will be a lasting sense of friendship and trust. Particularly in these days, where in politics and governance and business, there's clearly a deficit of the spirit of humanity, human values, justice, and ethics. Decisions are made, be it in trade or politics or geopolitical arrangements, purely by the arrogance of power, might of military strength and prowess, and greed. So it is important that we educate our young to understand and appreciate that after all, this GSS EZEC, Forest City, the fast pace of development in Johor and in Malaysia is finally for the people. And people means the elements of humanity. Humanity means better livelihood, of course, better education, health, technology or new technology or artificial intelligence, but at the same time, the principles tied to values, ethics, and humanity. Okay, that is insofar as culture and civilization is concerned. Bear with me a bit, don't feel bored, because I think there is a strong case, a compelling case to urge the present generation to focus on, of course, new disciplines, but must be grounded on values, culture, and civilization. All our education institutions, we need to promote that. We will be left behind if we do not master new technology. We do not upskill and reskill our students. If we do not grasp and have better understanding of digital technology and artificial intelligence. But that's not an all. It must be grounded on our language, our culture, our literature, our civilization, on our ethics and morality. I made it a point. You like it or not, I'm given this trust. I will never break from that focus or principles or policies that will push Malaysia and ensure that we not only grow but excel as an important country, economically, technologically, but never to ignore the importance of our roots, our culture, our civilization. Back to Nikkei Forum. You know the strength of this region. And do not underestimate the importance of Johor, Singapore, SEZ. ASEAN happens to be one of the most peaceful regions in the world. Vibrant and dynamic economically. And the bilateral relations, multilateral relations, and regional cohesiveness is rather unprecedented. I was at the ISIS forum this morning. Of course, people say, "Oh, thank you, Prime Minister Anwar, for the success." I said, even engagement with Myanmar leaders, both the military junta Prime Minister and the National Unity Government Prime Minister. I say, credit goes to the ASEAN leaders. They gave me the mandate. They gave me the support, and our relations is excellent. Look at this region, this SEZ. It would not have happened if the two governments, the two systems do not share the common interest of uplifting both these countries. This is not an ordinary SEZ. You name me any economic zone that involves two countries based on total trust and working together as a team, formidable team to uplift both societies and countries. And therefore I give credit not only to Malaysian leaders in Johor, but also Singapore friends who have been articulating and supporting this issue. And because of that, precisely because of that, you can see so much interest. I mean, the Japanese are here, the Chinese, the Koreans, the Europeans, and JSSEZ is now known internationally, globally, as a new dynamo. Why? Because of this collaboration, because of the infrastructure in place. That means politically stable and there's clarity of policies. We were told that sometimes we need new instruments. Invest Malaysia Facilitation Center. I mean, these Johor guys are not easy. Every meeting they make new demands. And if they fail at the state level, they use someone up there. And for a good cause. You know? So, this facilitation center clearly becomes a major focal point to accelerate the process of approvals, which is unprecedented again. And this becomes, therefore, a facilitation center both at MITI and Johor as a showcase for other state authorities and some other federal agencies to emulate and progress. So you may have a politically stable system. You may have clarity of policies, brilliant minds working. But you must have this pace of approvals, the commitment of the both bureaucrats and executives in the field. And so thank you very much for those who have played their role and have seen the capacity and ability of SEZ through IIB, Khazanah, and the state government working together to enhance and showcase their ability and capability of SEZ. So it's a great story. I mean, I was in Davos, and one of the questions raised about potential development, and I mentioned just SEZ. Not only in terms of a new project to attract investments and to provide incentives, many countries give better incentives than just SEZ. And I happens to be holding the fort at the Ministry of Finance. I'm not interested in giving new incentives. Enough. But then you don't have that many countries with a politically stable system, a strong coalition, a two-thirds majority in parliament, and using that to accept and acknowledge some of our blunders and excesses of the past, of endemic corruption, of abuse of power, of laxity, and having understanding that, decide to embark on very clear policies for the government. On industrial master plan and roadmap, on energy transition, on digital transformation, on semiconductor strategy, because this is important. Malaysia now is a hub for data centers, AI, and semiconductor. But the challenge is, of course, efficient execution of these decisions. If we can do it in 2 weeks, why must we wait for 2 months? I always ask the staff, is there a compelling reason why you must delay? Because it's a weekend? Because it's holidays? Because you have to refer to so many committees and subcommittees? We have, therefore, to change. So, this is the good story, of course, and we are fortunate again, I say, to be in ASEAN and to have that sort of very, very close relations. And Japan, thank you very much. You know, I had this opportunity to meet Prime Minister Kishida a number of times and become now good friends, and finally persuaded him to be really, tight. He and his wife are all durian addicts. And the first time he had durian was when I served during lunch. And now Prime Minister Ishiba, not only the formal relations, but the trust and the focus and the continuous exchanges. Now, we are having this, to deal with this issue of the Trump tariffs. As a country, as a region, we are for rules-based multilateral arrangements. We do not share this or do not endorse or support or condone any unilateral action. It does not matter for any country. We promote peace and we stand firm, despite the fact that we are a relatively small country. We do not fear to express our views, be it on the Israeli aggression and colonization of Gaza or provocation to Iran. We stand firm and we are prepared to face whatever issues raised. But at the same time, we observe the principle of, or adopt the principle and policy of centrality. Nobody can dictate that we should be too friendly to Japan or China or United States. We are a trading country, we're an open trading country. And the policy must be to protect the interests of this nation and our people. The United States is still cumulatively and present the greatest investor, trading partner with Malaysia. You have E&E here, semiconductor. You know that 60% of our export is to the United States, which means our relations with the United States, notwithstanding our differences in many of the foreign policy issues or this unilateral decision on tariffs, our relationship with the United States must remain strong. Which means we must continue the engagement. I just received a note from Minister Zafrul this morning about the series of meetings with the Commerce Secretary, with the US Trade Representative, progressing very well in terms of negotiations on tariff. But at the same time, we also represent ASEAN interests. And Prime Minister Ishiba, for example, when he called, he agreed that the Commerce Secretary or Minister of Japan should then coordinate so that we take an ASEAN position, we work with Japan, Korea, and China to engage with the United States. Why? To ensure that trading, investments remain paramount and must be based on a multilateral arrangements. So, there is some other issues. Of course, we take a very strong position against the provocative actions by North Korea, which is affecting, of course, the security of the region, of South Korea, of Japan, and we take a position very clearly. And we in ASEAN have that consensus because we also have to deal and grapple with the issue of the South China Sea. But our relations with China is very close. Not many countries can record that last month we had, or a month earlier, we had President Xi Jinping on an official visit here. And the following month we had Premier Li Qiang, which could not have happened if our relations with China is not extremely close. Why? Because first the principle of centrality, secondly because we are a trading nation, we need all the investments, support, training, transfer of technology that China can offer, as the Japanese have offered for decades in the past. That is why I think our task is to make sure that we provide all the first incentive, but more so the infrastructure and the environment necessary. I mean, you are fortunate in the sense that you have Pengerang, which has become a major hub, oil and gas in the region, and major players, of course, Aramco. Yesterday, the chairman, president of ConocoPhillips, one of the greatest, the biggest oil and gas American company, was here in my office and committed to expand their investments in Sabah, huge investments into Sabah. Which shows what? That if we continue to be pragmatic in our policies, friendly to all countries, and utilize the relations for the betterment of both our countries or our countries in the region, we have the capacity and can certainly excel. It is important not only for the business community, because you can see for yourself. I mentioned Pengerang, a great, massive oil and gas hub, and the Japanese are coming in for the CCUS even, and we have passed the legislation. We were told it's not enough just to give these technical approvals. They need a clear legislation, and we did pass in a very short space of time. And then we have one of the most dynamic ports in Johor, PTP, extremely efficient and very competitive. And we have airport. And of course, Setil asked me few billion ringgit more. I said, you contribute first, then we think about new projects. So I join you here merely to say that we are committed to this program and project to ensure not only that you invest, but you benefit. And notwithstanding what I have said so confidently, now with humility I would say, after listening to you, getting the recommendations, we will make all the necessary adjustments within our parameters, if absolutely necessary, to make sure that we become a really and a very attractive destination for foreign investments. And which means we are prepared to share your experiences and learn from you, your criticisms, your suggestions through the state government, or Khazanah, through IIB, and we will, I can assure you that my cabinet, my team, have that humility to acknowledge and accept that we are not living in the perfect world. We should be very dynamic and make adjustments wherever necessary. So thank you very much again.
Thank you, Yang Amat Berhormat Prime Minister, for the keynote address. Please remain on stage. We now invite Yang Amat Berhormat Dato' On Hafiz bin Ghazi, Chief Minister of Johor, and His Excellency Noriyuki Shikata, Ambassador of Japan to Malaysia, to accompany Yang Amat Berhormat Prime Minister on stage to witness the following ceremonies. Ladies and gentlemen, we now move on to a significant milestone in today's program, the exchange of a memorandum of understanding between Neo Japan Inc. and Invest Johor.
This MOU marks the beginning of a strategic collaboration to establish Neo Japan's Southeast Asia Center of Excellence within the Johor-Singapore Special Economic Zone. It aims to strengthen Johor as a regional hub by developing talent, driving digital transformation with Neo Japan's technology within Invest Johor, and positioning JSSEZAC as a key destination for Japanese investment.
We would now like to invite to the stage Mr. Akihiro Saito, Group President and CEO of Neo Japan Inc., and Mr. Nataza Harris, Chief Executive Officer of Invest Johor. Mr. Nataza and Mr. Akihiro Saito, you may now exchange the MOU.
Ladies and gentlemen, let us witness this momentous occasion. Mr. Nataza Harris and Mr. Akihiro Saito will now exchange the MOU. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in a round of applause for the exchange of MOU between Neo Japan Inc. and Invest Johor. Thank you. We'd like to invite Mr. Akihiro Saito and Mr. Nataza Harris to return to their seats. Yang Amat Berhormat Prime Minister, Yang Amat Berhormat Chief Minister of Johor, and His Excellency Ambassador, please remain on stage, Dato' Sri. We still have one more ceremony to go.
Just a bit more.
Just a bit more, Datuk Sri. So ladies and gentlemen, next we would like to commemorate the long-term strategic partnership between Iskandar Investment Berhad IIB and Nikkei with the exchange of mementos between IIB and Nikkei.
May I invite from Iskandar Investment Berhad, Yang Berbahagia Dato' Amirul Faizal Wan Zahir, Chairman of Iskandar Investment Berhad and Managing Director of Khazanah National Berhad, and Yang Berbahagia Dato' Izham Muhammad Hashim, President and Chief Executive Officer of Iskandar Investment Berhad. And from Nikkei, we have Mr. Hide Nakakato, Managing Executive Officer of a Global Conference Nikkei Inc., as well as Mr. Tetsushi Hayashi, Fellow Nikkei BP Intelligence Group.
And now we invite Yang Berbahagia Dato' Izham